Hello. 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 Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatah. Trooper Barakwaya Allah in Montreal. What's going on? Once again, my name is Officer Shargapan, holding class down for the leader, the camp leader of Canada, Officer Ban. Let's be a little patient while we get this feed up and running. Gain some more viewership. Like and share. Like and share. Make sure you like and share. Like and share, everyone. We're going to be starting in a few minutes. Just waiting to get some more viewers. We're going to wait a little more. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. Barak Ya Allah, if you can hear me, type 1. If you can hear me, type 1. If you can hear me, type 1. Okay, a few more moments. We're going to get started. Okay, we're going to get this class started at 8:15. All right, a few more moments. Two more minutes. All right, let's get this started. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Manhattan, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. And since 1969, we've been teaching the truth according to the Bible that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the real Israelites, the real Jews, the real chosen children of God, the real Lord's children, according to the Bible. And that Christ is our king, and he was the greatest black man to ever walk the earth. So Shalom Israel, Shalom Yahweh Ba'Shem Yashar Barakatham to all the Ak brothers out there. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Alatham Ba'Shem Yahushai to all the sisters out there. I am Officer Ashagapan of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, and today we're going to be touching on a topic that seems to be plaguing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans all over this earth. And in Canada, since it's so close to the Americas, and there's so many different laws that govern the narcotics, and in particular marijuana. I know Canada, they have different laws or whatnot, and in some states, marijuana, weed is legalized in some states and not in others, and is not legalized through the federal government. So, but in Canada, we're gonna be hitting home on the topic of how weed destroys blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and our enemies know it. So part of this, we're going to be breaking down a little bit on marijuana, getting some scriptures on marijuana, which you can use for drugs or even drinking nonetheless. And we're going to be tying it into who our enemies are, and that our enemies know by destroying us with things like marijuana, they can get us to commit sins and have the Lord turn his face from us. Okay? So the first scripture I want to bring out is the book of Romans. I need the book of Romans chapter 15, verse 1. All right? The book of Romans chapter 15, verse 1. I'm going to give you a few moments to get there. Take your time. It's like a Romans chapter 15, verse 4, okay? So Romans chapter 15, verse 4 reads, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through the patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope." So just like every other class, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the scripture. Then I'll be breaking it down for you so you can better understand and digest the meat of these words, of these scriptures, of these precepts, so that way you can have a better understanding on how to apply it to your life and recognize them on a daily basis. All right? So my favorite scripture, one of my favorite scriptures, Romans chapter 15, verse 4, it says, "For whatsoever things were written." Now, we should probably know what that means, something that's written down, was written on a piece of paper, a parchment, a papyrus, on a scroll, on a stone, on a wall, whatever things were written aforetime. Now, aforetime is something that has happened already, happened before this moment. And in this Bible, all from Genesis to Revelations, we find things that have been written aforetime. All the prophets, before the prophets of the I.S.U.P.K on the commanding General YAHANNA, they wrote down lessons, and they wrote down the history, and they wrote down laws. They wrote down all the trespasses we did as a nation. They wrote down all the blessings and curses and prophecies. And all that was written aforetime, everything that was written in our book, our Bible, our Constitution, our survival guide, it was written for our learning. So when we pick up this book we shouldn't just read it just to read it like a storybook. It doesn't work that way. Some of you can read it as a storybook, but you're not going to gain and access the deeper understanding, the higher level of thinking, and how it can be applied and utilized till today. So everything that was written in this book in the past by the prophets like Moses, Isaiah, Joshua, Joel, Ezekiel, Zechariah, Zephaniah, Christ, it was all written down so that way here in 2018, we can be learning from it right now. And here on October 21st, 2018, I, as a priest and prophet of the Lord is going to be helping you, brothers and sisters in Canada or all over the earth, wherever you are watching this video right now. I'm going to help you understand that everything that was written in this book, everything that you read from Genesis to Revelations, was written for us to learn from, to apply to our lives today, here in 2018 and in the future. All right? So let's drop that. And the next scripture I want to go to is 1 Corinthians chapter 3. All right? 1 Corinthians chapter 3. First Corinthians chapter 3, and when you have it, go to verse 16. Okay? Officer Wariam Bon Loyal, Shalom, sir. YAHANNA. Thank you for joining us today. We still got Trooper Barak Ya'ala from Canada. What's going on, brother? All right. So 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. It reads, "Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you?" All right, so let's break that down. Know ye not? Don't you know? If you don't know, you should know. And it's something very important that you should know if you don't know it. That you, black man, black woman, Hispanic man, Hispanic woman, Native American man and woman in Canada, all over the earth, know ye that ye are the temple of God. Your body doesn't belong to you. Your body is just a vessel. And part of your job is to treat this vessel correctly, which entails using this vessel that the Lord has given you to obey his laws, statutes, and commandments on a daily basis. It's not for you to do whatever you want with it. It's not for you to go and want to go buy a dub sack of some nice fire, some Lao, some hydroponic, get that kush, Sour D used to make me get right, It's not for you to go and roll up or get a doobie, roll a fat one, get your vape pen or your bong, your bubbler, your waterfall bong, make a smoking device, make a smoking apparatus out of a pineapple or apple, banana, however creative you wanna slice the pie. It is not for you to be going and buying drugs, marijuana, for you to put into the temple of God, your body. It says that the Spirit of God, the Spirit of the Most High God, that Spirit is the willingness to obey the laws, statutes, and commandments, to do the laws, statutes, and commandments. That's the Spirit of God. Knowing that this book, even though it was written a long time ago, it was written for you to learn till today. And in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16, you are this temple that the God created to obey him. And the way you obey him is by reading your book, reading the laws that he gave you to follow and keeping them today. That's the Spirit of God. And the Spirit of God dwelleth in you. So you, in your temple that the Lord gave you, the Spirit of God, the ability to serve the Lord, the ability to obey the laws, the ability to obey the commandments and his statutes, it's already in you to do. All you have to do is go on the right path and be obedient to do them. All right? Let's drop down. Let's go to verse 17. It says, if any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. Let's break that down. If any black, Hispanic, or Native American man or woman defiles the temple of God. Now, we just been over in verse 16 that the temple of God is you. You are the temple of God, right? If you decide to defile the temple of God by smoking a blunt, smoking a joint, hitting that waterfall bong, hitting that 3-chamber, 4-chamber, 6-foot tall bong, like I used to do when I was in the world being wicked, smoking out of a bubbler, a bowl, whatever it is, smoking out of a pineapple, you are defiling the temple of God. You are defiling your body, which the Lord has created to be a temple for him to dwell in, for him to dwell in you, to obey him, to keep these laws, to keep these statutes and commandments. Him shall God destroy. So if you want to go and sit on your couch right now, as you're watching me help you understand the laws, if you want to go sit on your couch, rolling up a blunt, you want to sit in your bedroom, packing your bubbler, if you want to sit in your kitchen, playing this through your Bluetooth speakers while you're cutting up an apple to smoke out of it, just know by you doing that, by you wanting to smoke, by you going and smoking, you're destroying the temple of God. And because you're doing that, the Lord will destroy you. As you put your lips to that blunt, that fat blunt, you just rolled up an eighth in that joint. You know, like that thing is thick as hell. The size of a dollar bill, look like a cigar packed with Northern Lights and sour diesel and some haze with a little bit of dro, sprinkled with some THC. You roll that in that Fanta leaf, you know, you got that joint ready to burn, and you're burning it, putting it to your mouth, inhaling it, exhaling it, feeling good. The Lord is going to destroy you for that. Because it says, if any man, if any black, Hispanic, or Native American defile the temple of God, if you decide to defile the temple that the Lord gave you, the Lord shall destroy you. He could destroy. You know, I've seen things where brothers take hits of a blunt for the first time and they bug out. They start scratching themselves. They get paranoid. They running, start taking off their clothes. I've seen cases of brothers smoking K2, that synthetic marijuana, that fake stuff. It's not even real. It's dried up plants and herbs and spices and sprayed with chemicals. I've seen brothers get butt ass naked, running up and down the streets, falling down subway steps, trying to fight and bite other people. I've seen brothers and sisters start scratching their faces because they think they have the bugs on them, or they think something's wrong with them, and they're trying to scratch it off of them. That's how the Lord's going to destroy you, by making you go mad, insane. The Lord can destroy you by making you choke to death by smoking that blunt, by smoking out of that apple or pineapple, by rolling up that fat joint and lighting it. The Lord can kill you right there and then. Or the Lord can make you get into a bad car accident while you're driving, going on for a blunt ride, going on for that L cruise, you know? The Lord can have you sitting nice and comfortable in your mom and your dad's house, you smoking a blunt, watching me teach, and you get a phone call saying your mom just died. Your dad just died. That's how the Lord can destroy you. He can cause you great suffering for being disobedient. Now remember, what was written aforetime, what was written in this Bible thousands of years ago, was written for us to learn from today, was written for us to learn today and to use today. There's been many instances where if the brother didn't die, the priest didn't die, a family member was killed. His wife was murdered. You know, his children was murdered. All for not all for not wanting to follow the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments. And one of them is not to defile your temple, because the God gave you that temple. The Most High gave you that temple. It doesn't belong to you. It's like, think of your body as like when you go into Honda or Toyota dealership, and you don't want to finance that, but you want to lease it, because you got to give that lease back at the end of the 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, whatever it is. It don't belong to you. That's why the maintenance is free, the checkups are free, the oil changes are free, the tire rotations are free. Your body is a lease. The Lord created it for you to inhabit and dwell in for a certain period of time. And if you want to go mess up that body, defile your temple, defile the temple of God, the Lord's going to destroy you. The Lord's going to strike you down dead. So go ahead, keep smoking that blunt, keep smoking that marijuana, that ganja, whatever you want to call it. You're only destroying yourself. You're only forcing the Lord's hand to destroy you. Slack it. Now, for the rest of the verse, it says, "For the temple of God is holy, which ye are." So the temple of God is holy. So holy just means to be able to be doing all the righteous things that the Lord wants you to do, like obeying his laws, statutes, and commandments. So since you are the temple of God, you are supposed to be holy. You're not supposed to be doing anything that can defile the temple of the Most High, your body. You're not supposed to be smoking blunts. You're not supposed to be smoking reefer, joints, doobies, filter bongs. You're not supposed to be smoking none of that stuff. All right, so let's drop that and let's get Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 14. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 14, verse 5. Okay? Give you a few more moments to get there. All right, let's read. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 14, verse 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Let's break that down. All right. Since the topic is marijuana and weed, and knowing that our enemies are giving it to us and know how it will destroy us, how can we do evil to ourselves? The scripture says, he that is evil to himself. You are evil to yourself when you decide to go to work, make that money, get paid on payday, withdraw $100, $50, $80, $200, $300, a dub, a $20 bill from the ATM, from the bank. Call up your local weed man, call up Lolo from around the corner, call up Money P from around the block, call up whatever your drug dealer's name is, whoever he or she is. It's evil when you call them up and go and buy that eighth, that gram, that 20 bag sack, that nickel bag, if they still got nickel bags, that dime sack. Are you getting a a quarter ounce, a half ounce, a OZ, a full ounce. It's evil when you go and do that. Because the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take some of that marijuana out, take some of that weed out, roll it up, pack a bowl, pack the bong, put it in your apple, put it in your pineapple, put it on a frying pan with a little bit of butter and cook it with the butter to get weed butter and all that, and put it in the fridge, drain it, strain it, put it in the fridge, let the butter freeze up, and then put it in brownies and your spaghetti, whatever you want to do, whatever creative way you want to do to get high. You're doing evil to yourself. We just read in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 16 and 17 that your body is the temple of God. Your body is holy because the temple is you. So why would you want to go and destroy your temple? Why would you want to go defile the temple that the Lord has given you to live in? You're only doing evil to yourself, like it says here in Ecclesiastes chapter 14, verse 5. He that is evil to himself. When you smoke that blunt, then you want to go and do Lord knows what other type of wickedness. Our sisters, they're so precious and sometimes so gullible, Black, Hispanic, and Native American women. You'll tell a brother will seduce you to give him that box, to let him hit that, for you to give that V card up, to give him that punani, that toto, whatever you want to call it. The brother will guide you into giving up the box, open up your legs for him for some marijuana, for a blunt, to smoke with me, to chill with me for the day. Let's get high. You're doing evil to yourself. You as a woman, as a Black, Hispanic, or Native American woman, when you decide to smoke that blunt, to smoke some weed with that brother whose only intention is to it's to get in between your legs and then kick you out the house, say he'll call you but never call you, brag to his friends, yo, I just been smashing Keisha last night. Yo, I was with Juanita the other day, man. She had that good box. They're just helping you do evil to yourself. It says, to whom will he be good? How can I expect you, if I think you're an attractive Black, Hispanic, or Native American woman, and I have a little inkling in you, I think you're attractive. I like where your head is at. You going to school, trying to make something of yourself. I find that attractive, and then I find out that you smoke blunts and you hang out with dudes that are up to no good, and I hear that you be letting them smash and get in the box. How can I trust that you're gonna do good to me? I don't smoke weed. We ain't gonna be smoking weed when we're together. If you're gonna make that decision to be with me, there ain't gonna be no weed smoking in my house, in your house, around me when I'm not around. You ain't gonna be smoking weed. You're gonna have to cut that out. How can I trust you? How are you gonna prove you're gonna be good to me? Because you're gonna end up fiending. You're gonna end up wanting to smoke another blunt, and you ain't gonna get it from me. You're gonna go get it from someone else. Some dude you might call, be like, yeah, come over, come through, get high. You get high, and next thing you do, you having sex with them. I ain't fucking with you no more. I can't be with you. I don't lay with women. I don't have a desire for women that lay with other men, with different other men, with any man. If a woman, as a Black, Hispanic, or Native American woman, if you want to sit by a well and drink from everyone's well, if you want to open your quiver and let in every arrow, you want to let every dude with a rod that says you're attractive and pretty, you got a nice smile, let's smoke, you're gonna let them hit. You're not for me. You're gonna do evil to yourself. How can you do good for me? How am I gonna trust that when I come home, you're gonna have the house in order? How am I gonna trust you that when I come home, I know you didn't let some homeboys from around the corner in the house and smoke with them? Do whatever the Lord knows what with them. You are no good to me. If a brother's gonna do evil to himself, I can't trust him to stand behind me and hold post. If you smoke weed, sniff coke, inject heroin, whatever type of drug you do, you're doing evil to yourself. I cannot trust you. You cannot stand amongst the men I stand with and hold posts that can't. You can't be one of the men I go to war with. Matter of fact, if you a brother and you smoke marijuana, you cannot train with me in Hebrew Academy. You cannot be learning the Yakarab and sharpening the sword and running laps with me, doing Yakarab push-ups with me, doing sit-ups with me. You can't be suffering in the cold with me if you smoking marijuana. You're doing evil to yourself. What good are you going to be to me if we have to go to work? If we have to go do a job? If we're at camp and we have to take ground? I can't trust you. You are no good to me because you're doing evil to yourself. So cut that marijuana out. You don't need marijuana. It's not part of our culture as Israelites to want marijuana. All right? Let's read. He shall not take pleasure in his goods. You sitting there fiending over marijuana. You spend $20 right now. You get high. The high wears down. You eat the food in your fridge. You go hit up your drug man again, the weed man again. Go to the weed spot, the trap house. You buy an eighth of weed, so this time it can last you longer. So you spend 40 to 70 bucks. You go back home. You smoke. You eat. You go to sleep. You smoke. You eat. You go to sleep. You're late to work. You're smoking at work. You're getting dock pay. You're getting told to go home earlier because you're not working properly. How are you going to take pleasure in the things you work for? How can you take pleasure in getting a crown of gold from the Lord if you're doing evil to yourself? How can you expect to enjoy your apartment that you just got when you are smoking your money away? All your cha-ching, all your green is being spent on another type of green because you're a fiend. You can't stop. Well, you need to have more discipline. You need to have more strength. You got to understand that smoking marijuana is just ruining your temple. It's ruining the body that the Lord gave you on the lease. It's not even yours. You don't own your body. It belongs to the Lord. And what you're supposed to do with your body is not defile it. You're supposed to keep your body holy because it is holy, because you're supposed to be holy. We are a nation of kings and priests and princesses and prophets, teachers, leaders. That's who we are. We got to stay sober-minded. We can't enjoy and going to our son and our little children doing things if we're high all the time. Why do you think we got so many children out here suffering because their mom and dads, they're crack addicts? No, they're suffering from addictions. They're spending their diaper money on weed. They're spending their formula money on weed and all types of other nonsense and drugs, just defiling their temple. You know what I mean? We got to do better, Israel. All right? Let's drop that. And the next thing I want is the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20. All right? The book of Judith in the Apocrypha, chapter 5, verse 20. Let me see if I got any comments or anything. Taval decrease, Shalom, brother. It's true the whole legalization was extremely suspect. Yeah, of course it's extremely suspect. They say let's make marijuana. First, marijuana is illegal. All of our Black, Hispanic, and Native American men and women get locked up and incarcerated for an extended period of time for marijuana, for selling marijuana, for having a sickness and a disease and being addicted to the substance and all types of drugs, then you want to go and make it legal. So now people can get rich off of selling marijuana, but we just incarcerated thousands upon thousands of brothers and sisters for the same thing, and they're still in jail. Sentences not getting shorter. You know, yeah, it was very suspect. Tanya Waterman, Shalom Yahweh Shamar Alatah Bashim Yoshai, sis. What's going on? Tavel, yeah, weed is not even a white people drug. It's an East Indian drug. And that you know what, that leads me to a valid point, because I wanted to touch on that. So hold Judith, and I'm gonna read an article I got. All right. It's called it's from Psychology Today. You can find this on psychologytoday.com. The article is called History of Cannabis in India. It's not even, marijuana is not even a white people's drug. Marijuana is not an African people's drug. It's not a Asian's drug. It's an Indian drug, an East Indian drug. It's from their history, their culture, that was able to be spread and pushed onto the world and pushed heavily on us, because our enemies know that it will destroy us. But I'm gonna get to that in a few. It says, the history of cannabis in India. Okay, let me make this text a little larger. It says, cannabis has a long history in India, veiled in legends and religion. So in the legends of India, going back thousands of years, cannabis was there. It was been there from the beginning. And their religion, all that Hindu bullshit, all that Shiva, Vishnu, Krishna, whatever, Ishna, Blishna, whatever, it's part of their religion. It was never part of a black man's religion. It was never part of a Hispanic man's religion. It was never part of a Native American man's religion. It was never part of our culture, our history, to use cannabis. And for all you nuts out there that think that calamus in the Bible is actually cannabis, you need to put the blunt down, stop following these fake ass Israelite groups that broke off from us because they wanted to think like you, and they wanted to keep being weed addicts and drug addicts and rape girls and think that they're the Lord and Savior. That's why they broke off from us, because they think like you. Calamus just means a stalk, a plant, a pole, even something that's long. It's a plant, something that you can use as an incense, a stalk that it comes from. Think of a corn stalk, something like that. It's not cannabis. All right, cut that bull crap out. All just so you can smoke weed. Anything for you to smoke weed. Show some discipline. Grow some nuts. Let your balls hang. Put weed down. You don't need it. It's not that serious. It says the earliest mention of cannabis. So the earliest mention in cannabis of marijuana, of weed, that ganja, that loud, that cloud nine, that sour, the diesel, the haze, the dro, the jacaranda, the northern lights, the white rhino, the black widow, white widow, cheese, whatever type of weird, crazy ass name that you know of for marijuana or particular strain, the earliest mention of it has been found in the Vedas, or the sacred Hindu text. The first time it was mentioned that it could be found in the Hindu text. Cannabis was not found in the Bible, dum-dum. You will not find cannabis in the Bible, dum-dum. And I can prove it. Type, go on some Google or Safari or Mozilla Firefox and go into a Bible King James Online Bible, Blue Letter Bible. Type in cannabis. Type in marijuana. Type in weed. Type in ganja. You're not going to find it. It's not in there. But if you Google cannabis in the Bible, you're going to have a lot of nuts that think they can prove that people use marijuana in the Bible. They can't. No white man that wrote a blog can say that there's cannabis in the Bible. He's trying to lead you astray. The white man is your enemy. But we're going to get to that in a little bit because I want to stay on topic and on course. I got an outline I want to follow. It says, these writings may have been compiled as early as 2000 to 1400 BC. According to the Vedas, cannabis was one of 5 sacred plants, and a guardian angel lived in its leaves. A guardian angel living in the leaves of marijuana. What kind of crap is that? A guardian? You actually think that the Most High God is going to have an angel of the Lord go live in the leaves of marijuana? You're smoking too much. You need to turn off the YouTube, okay? You're smoking too much and you need to turn off the YouTube. And you need to understand that the Lord never wanted you to smoke weed. The Lord does not want you to smoke weed. There's no reason why you should be smoking weed. Okay? So like, give me one moment. I'm having some technical difficulties right here. Seems like our Facebook went down for some strange reason. The reason why our Facebook went down is because the white man is the goddamn devil. All right? The reason why our Facebook feed went down is because the white man is the goddamn devil and he just wants to destroy you. Mark Zuckerberg is the goddamn devil. All the other CEOs and CFOs and capital venturalists of Facebook, they're all devils and they want to destroy you. And they don't want me waking you up knowing that marijuana is not something as Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans we should be doing. Now, that's why I had to take a few moments to fix the Facebook feed, because the white man is the goddamn devil. He is your enemy, and he doesn't want me helping you to stop using drugs, to stop smoking marijuana. Because if you kept smoking marijuana, he is guaranteed to keep you in a destroyed state. But I ain't going to allow it. So we're going to get Facebook up and running again. All right? All right, Facebook. We got Facebook back up and running. Salakia to everyone on YouTube. All right? Give me 1 second. All right, all right. So let's get back to this. Let's get back to work. It says, according to the Vedas, the Vedas called cannabis a source of happiness. Now you may think smoking marijuana, yay, I'm so giggly. I feel so happy. I'm happy. I love life. One love, everyone. Let's get together and feel all right. No. Cannabis destroys your mind. It makes you stupid. It slows your reaction time, your thinking time. It makes you drowsy, sleepy, hungry. How can you stand next to me and go to war if you're in a drowsy state? How can you stand next to me and go to war if your timing is too slow? You have a delayed reaction. Next thing you know, we're gonna have some devil, some heathen come in and smack you across the face, and You're going to look there stuck stupid because you're too busy getting high. Marijuana is slowing your reaction time. We need men of war. We need mighty men of valor. We don't need drug addicts. But if you are a drug addict, you can come into I.S.U.P.K and we'll help you clean yourself. We'll help make your temple holy again. We'll help you not defile your temple. All right? It says, cannabis is the Vedas called cannabis a source of happiness, joy giver, liberator that was compassionately given to humans to help us attain delight and lose fear. Your delight is obeying the law, statutes, and commandments. Your fear is the Most High God that gave us this. That's how you should fear. You should never have no fear because you should always fear the Lord. Your delight is knowing that obeying these laws, statutes, and commandments, you will live forever. You will have everlasting life. This Bible should be your joy giver. Knowing that you are a nation of princes, princesses, priests, prophets, warriors, killers. Knowing that should be your joy giver. Not no cannabis. Not marijuana is no joy giver. Marijuana is no delight. It's destroying you. Marijuana is no is not going to help you get rid of your fear. People get paranoid when they smoke marijuana. People bug out when they smoke marijuana. And I'm going to prove that with another article I got. Let me finish this. Okay. It releases us from anxiety. Bull crap. There's so many people that have a heightened sense of anxiety when they smoke marijuana. Take me for an example. I'll use myself as an example. When I was in the world being wicked, when I was selling drugs, when I was smoking blunts, I used to be good, feeling nice. I smoke a blunt, I want to go ride a bike. I smoke a blunt, I want to go climb a rock. I smoke a blunt, I want to draw birds and do all types of crap. But when I found out who I was, and when I started watching classes, started hearing the truth, when the Lord first allowed me to hear Captain Mashak call a white woman a dog, a devil, and that she needs to go back to slavery, that all changed. When I would smoke blunts, when I would hit a bong, I would panic. I would get paranoid. I would have a heightened sense of anxiety. My heart rate would pace. You know, I would be driving high as hell, smoking a blunt high as hell, paranoid, looking through all my mirrors, making sure there's no cop following me or whatnot. I was bugging out. When I would be sitting at home, smoking a blunt, smoking my vape, watching a I.S.U.P.K breakdown, I couldn't focus. I was learning absolutely nothing. I couldn't read my Bible high. I wasn't learning and attaining nothing. I was having anxiety problems. So you know what? After I started listening to the Lord, I put that down. I stopped selling drugs. I stopped smelling. I stopped selling weed to my fellow blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I stopped myself from getting high because the Lord said that I am a temple of Him, that my temple is holy because the Lord is holy. And since I am a prince from the tribe of Asher of the nation of Israel, I am holy. I need to be holy. I'm not supposed to defile the temple that the Lord has gave me. I was able to put that stuff down. You know, I remember July 25th, today's 2018. July 25th, 2016, the last time, that's the day I stopped smoking weed. And I thank the Most High God for giving me that strength and ability to do so. Because without Him, without knowing who I was, without Commanding General YAHANNA, without the I.S.U.P.K, I would never have known who I was. I would still be smoking weed and selling drugs right now. I'll probably be dead, arrested by now, in prison on Rikers, in Rockland County jail. I'll be somewhere in the States or the feds, with some of my family members. That's where I would have been. But I took delight knowing that this right here is my delight. This right here is what I fear. I fear the repercussions of breaking the laws because I've read what was written aforetime and I use it for my learning today. I read what happened to our ancestors when we went into slavery in Egypt. I read about my ancestors when we went into slavery in Babylon, in Assyria, through the Persian and the Medes. I read about when Moses had him and the Levites kill our people because they were sinning and being whoremongers and sleeping with heathen women. I don't want the wrath of God to fall on me. So I fear the Lord. I take delight in knowing that this will save my life. This Bible is my joy giver. And knowing that marijuana is not my joy giver, cannabis is not my liberator. Marijuana was not given to us compassionately by guardian angels. Marijuana it will not make me free of fear. Marijuana does not give me delight. The word of the Lord gives me delight. Fearing the Lord makes me know that I will be okay because I will obey him. Smoking marijuana is going to throw all that out the window. You ain't going to be caring about nothing but getting high. And then if you want to keep continuing to destroy your temple, the Lord shall destroy you. Let's keep reading this. It says, the god Shiva, what a homosexual name to give to a god. The god Shiva is frequently associated with cannabis, called bhang in India. Let me get the correct pronunciation of this idiot, dumbass word.
Bang.
Bang. So in India, they call marijuana bang. People in India are smoking bang. You in Jamaica listening to Bob Marley, you're not smoking marijuana. You're not smoking ganja. You're smoking bang. Because that's what the Indians called it. And the homosexual god Shiva, what a homosexual name, Shiva is associated with bang in India. Okay? It says, according to legend, Shiva wandered off into the fields after an angry discourse with his family. See, this is how weak a person is for smoking marijuana. See, it says in this Bible, in my delight, in the delight of every man and woman in the I.S.U.P.K, the delight of this Bible is knowing that when I have an issue with my brother and I am angry with my brother, I'm not going to leave my brother. I'm not going to go into the fields after an angry discourse with my family, like it says here about the god Shiva. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read this delight. I'm going to read the thing that's the biggest joy giver in my life. I'm going to take the words and commandments of the Lord that I fear, Yahweh, the Most High God, and I'm going to utilize them. It says when you have an ought with your brother, you should go to him and him alone. You should, if your brother offends you, trespasses against you, you should go to that brother by yourself. If your brother doesn't want to hear you, you should go to counsel. Tell one of the high-ranking men in your camp, in that part of the school. Get counsel. Go call up General Mahyman. General Mahyman's gonna pick up the phone. Shalom, this is General Mahyman. How can I help you? And he's gonna be there to pick up the phone, and you will get counsel. You and that brother, you and your family member, you will get counsel. That's why we have the I.S.U.P.K. We have men of the Lord that will help you get counsel, give you the best advice, help you settle beefs and problems among you and your family, among you and your brothers. But Shiva, an Indian god, an Indian bullcrap god, he had an angry discourse with his family. He drained from the family conflict and the hot sun. He was drained. He couldn't take the problems with his family anymore. I go through problems with my family every goddamn day. There was a point in time, my own mother, the woman that pushed me out of her matrix, She didn't want to speak to me because I said the white man is a goddamn devil. That she don't love God because she doesn't do what God says to do. Because she wants to get a DNA test and say that she's 40 or 50% European, whatever that means. And I told her, well, if you're 50% European, a white woman, you sure got the short end of the stick because they treat you like a Hispanic woman. You're the last one to get hired, first one to get fired. White privilege does not work for you, Mom. You know, but thank the Most High God, you know, thank the Most High, me being disciplined, you know, the Lord giving us such a righteous man like Commanding General YAHANNA to lead us today and to build the army for Christ's return. You know, that I stuck to my guns. I didn't waver. I stayed strong. I stood steadfast. And I talk to my mom now. My mom calls me, she texts me, asking me how I'm doing. You know, my family calls me and texts me, asks me how I'm doing. And I do the one thing that I'm taught to do. Be brotherly to them. Okay? So Shiva fell asleep under a leafy plant. When he awoke, his curiosity led him to sample the leaves of the plant. It doesn't even say how he sampled the plant in this particular verse. It just says that he woke up. Ooh, look at that leaf. I want to try that leaf. Oh, look at that plant. I want to taste that plant. I want to see what that plant will do. If you're a god, why don't you know that already? Because Shiva is not a god. Shiva is nothing. The god Shiva is BS. It's false. It's fake. It said, it instantly rejuvenated him. When has marijuana ever rejuvenated a Black, Hispanic, or Native American person? When I was in the world getting high, I felt tired, hungry, tired. That's it. I felt tired and hungry and happy. I was not rejuvenated. I wasn't strong again. I didn't feel like I just took a nap. I didn't feel full. I had to sleep. I had to eat. I felt giggly. I was not rejuvenated. Shiva made the plant his favorite food. So he would eat the bhang, the cannabis. And he became known as the Lord of Bhang. The god Shiva became known as the Lord of Bhang. What kind of name is that? Hey, let's all pray to the Lord of Bhang. Let's all pray to the Lord of marijuana. The god Shiva. Okay? Let's drop that. Get rid of this article. We don't need that anymore. You know, so we don't need bhang. Let's see what else, any comments here. Tavel, yeah, it does mess up everyone. And that's right. The white man is so devilish and such a diabolical beast and animal and savage and caveman and despicable and disgusting and vile. If you haven't noticed, I hate the white man. He's such a dog, an animal, a serpent, a dragon, a liar, a deceiver. He tells us marijuana is okay. It's not a hard drug. You can puff and pass to the left. Pass the Dutchies upon the left-hand side. It's okay. Spread love. Bob Marley was a white man with dark skin. Let's come together and feel all right. That's what they do because they're such diabolical animals, beasts. They need to be killed. It's not addictive. Marijuana is not a gateway drug. Marijuana is a gateway drug. No, it's not a gateway drug. Marijuana will lead you to commit further and further sins. Because if you commit one sin, you commit them all. If you smoke marijuana, you might as well smoke crack. If you smoke marijuana, you might as well suck a man's rod. If you smoke marijuana, you might as well munch on another woman's vagina. If you smoke marijuana, you might as well just eat pork. Because no sin that is greater than the other. If you commit one sin, you commit them all. Okay? And Tavel, I understand what you say, what you mean by saying all the weed smokers you know are losers. But you gotta be more brotherly than that, you know? Like, I understand what you mean by saying that all the weed smokers that you know are losers. But when I see my cousin who I saw the other day rolling up a blunt as I'm walking towards him, I feel bad for him. I'm angry for him. I'm upset for him because there's something going on in his life that he thinks that smoking a blunt, he needs to smoke a blunt to feel better. And I spoke to him about it a few days ago. Like, why you rolling up a blunt? What you need a blunt for? Oh, this, that, and the third. So you think by smoking a blunt is gonna make your problems go away? It's gonna make you. You're gonna think it makes you feel good for a few hours. You're gonna get hungry, fall asleep, and you still have that problem. You know, like we shouldn't look at them as losers. We should look at them as our brothers and sisters that are suffering, and they need us to help them. And we need to do everything we can to help them. Because Commanding General YAHANNA didn't just think General Muhammad was a loser. Commanding General YAHANNA didn't think that General Mayak was a loser. Commanding General YAHANNA didn't think that Captain Mashak, that Captain Tazariak, that Captain Marquard, that Captain Akkad, Captain Sakawar, Captain Katazal were losers. He looked, General Muhammad, Commanding General YAHANNA, looked at them and said, these brothers need my help. These brothers are suffering. I need to do what Christ taught me to do, and I need to help my brothers not give in to that demon, not give in to their weakness, not give in to the lust of their flesh. And Tavel, you got to do the same thing too, man. You got to, even though they don't want to hear it, even though those weed smokers that you know think that they're successful and they making money, you have to look at them as your little brother that's suffering and he needs help. All right? Okay. Let's get back to business. Let me get this precept right here. Judith chapter 5, verse 20. All right? Judith chapter 5, verse 20. Hopefully you guys got it. I'm going to give you a few more moments. In the Apocrypha, Judith chapter 5, verse 20, it says, now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. Let me break this down, because now we're going to start going into who our enemy is, okay? It says, now therefore, my Lord, now listen, like this is happening now. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, these are one of our enemies speaking to their Lord, their King, their Governor, someone that's leading them. If there be any error, now error is something wrong. It's a mistake. It's something, you know what's right, but you do the opposite. You do the wrong thing. You do wrong. It's an error. If there be any error in this people, the people is us. The people is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If there be any error with us, if black, Hispanic, and Native American people error against the Lord, if we break the Lord's commandments, if we sin against the Lord, if we decide to not take heed to what was written aforetime for us to learn today, and they sin against their God, and this causes us to sin against the Most High God, our enemy said, let us consider, let us think carefully, let us contemplate, let us gather together and say, all right, yo, check it out. God doesn't want his people to smoke weed. So we get some bong, some cannabis, some marijuana, some ganja, that flame fire, flamethrower, loud, sour diesel, white rhino, haze, hydro, some Reggie Bush, and we give it to them. We push it on them. We force it into their communities. We get certain men that are wicked and get them to promote it, to sell it. We get them hooked on it. We can get them addicted to it. We can get them to want to spend their money. And most importantly, we can get them to sin against God. Damn, that sounds like a good plan. Let's do it. And let us go up. Let us gather ourselves. Let's get our guns, our swords, our weapons. Let's create a law enforcement. Let's create the court systems. Let's create the prison systems, and we shall overcome them. And we shall get them to kill each other, and we can lock them up. And we can get them to sell drugs to each other and lock them up. And we can get them to get addicted and do anything to get these drugs, and we can lock them up. We can get them addicted to it and make them go crazy and insane, and we can put them in mental facilities. We can get them off the streets. We can buy Harlem. We can buy Montreal. We can make Toronto white again. We can make Quebec free of savages and redskins and spics and niggas. This is what our enemy said. They thought that by knowing that we're supposed to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, they knew that if we wronged the Lord, if we sinned against the Lord, if we didn't keep his commandments, if we wanted to keep smoking marijuana, we would sin against the Lord. The Lord will abandon us, will punish us, will allow them to conquer us. Therefore, they can come and destroy us. They can come and enslave us. They can come and be taskmasters over us. They can come in and take over our neighborhoods, kick us out, put us in jail, teach our children nonsense. Now let's get into who our enemies are. Because if we don't know who our enemies are, we won't know who are the people that are trying to force us to sin against the Lord. All right? So this is what I want to do. I want to drop that. I'm going to quick and go to Ecclesiasticus 12:10. This is another one of my favorite scriptures. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 12, verse 10. All right? Let's get a few seconds to get there. Ecclesiasticus 12, verse 10. Now, before I get there, again, if we were to just, like Romans chapter 15:4 says, if we would just simply open these wonderful books, open these pages, just flip through them, read them, come into the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA and learn the truth of our Bible, of our history book, we would know that everything that was written aforetime was written for us to learn today. We would know who our enemy is. We would know who's been trying to destroy us. We'll know who's trying to put drugs and all types of paraphernalias and weapons and marijuana and bong in our neighborhoods. Ecclesiasticus 12:10, it says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Now, again, the way I teach, you already know what you're going to get. I'm going to read the scripture, and then I'm going to break it down word by word, line upon line. All right? Let's go. Let's get this. Let's go back. It says, never means don't ever. There's not, out of 100 times, there should not be one time where you do this. Never. Don't do this. Can you do this sometimes? No, it's never. You can never do this. Can you do this on Mondays and Wednesdays? No, there's never. You can never. There's no day that you can do this. Is it okay sometimes? Like any leeway room, wiggle room? No, never. You cannot do this ever. There's not one period in time, not one moment in time, not one day out of the week, out of the month, out of the year, out of the centuries, the decades, whatever. never trust. Now we know trust. I trust, Captain Tazariak. I trust General Mahaiman. I trust Captain Kataza. I trust Commanding General YAHANNA. I trust them for anything and everything. I trust them to give me the best advice because they always have given the best advice. I trust them to help me figure out problems if I have to go to court, if I have a speeding ticket, if I'm having problems with my dad and his rib, if I'm having problems with anything. It could be with me having problems, studying for my law school, my test for law school. I can trust them. I can trust my brothers that I go to war with for anything. There's not one moment in time where I have any doubts. It says, never trust thine enemy. Now, I don't trust my enemy. There's not one day out of the week where I trust an Asian person. There's not one day out of the week that I trust an East Indian trying to force bong onto us and weed. There's not one day that I trust an African from. There's not one day I trust an Arab that I buy my turkey bacon sandwiches from. There's not one day where I trust the goddamn devil himself, the white man. There's not one day that I go and think that it's okay to trust my enemies. And you should do the same thing. Because if you trust your enemies, you're going to be like Martin Luther King, a traitor. If you trust your enemies, you're going to be like Malcolm X, a traitor. If you trust your enemies, you're going to be like GOCC, IUIC, GMS, Sakari, ICGJC, the ABC crew, the XYZ crew. You're going to be like that because you trust your enemies more than you trust the real men of the Lord. You trust that you can do your own group, form your own group, and that the Lord will be with you. You trust that when you're on the street speaking and you don't have a speaker permit and you want to use a speaker permit, and you trust that when you go on the street teaching or trying to teach and you use a speaker and you don't have a speaker permit, you trust that the white man is not going to mess with you. You trust the Lord is going to be with you, and when the cops come up to you, the Lord will be on your side. No, the Lord is not going to be on your side. I saw a video recently of an Israelite group, their leader and another member get arrested, get put in handcuffs, put in the back of the squad car. I've seen news of a leader of the holy comforter of this fake Israelite group get arrested for tax evasion, stealing money from his own congregation. I saw him get arrested. The Lord wasn't with him. He trusted his enemy. He said, hey, look, if all these rich white people can get away with not paying taxes and embezzling money, I could get away with it too. That's why y'all got arrested, because y'all trust your enemy. I don't trust the goddamn white man, so I'm not gonna play around with his laws. I don't trust the white man. I don't trust the Asian man. That's why I don't even eat Chinese food. If the food is not cooked in front of me, I ain't eating no chicken. I ain't eating no Chinese food. If I can't see if I can't see if it's really chicken, I ain't eating no Chinese food. If I can't see the package that says turkey bacon from the Arab store and read the ingredients on the back and says, okay, there's no pork casing, there's no gelatin, there's no this, okay, it's tawab. Oh, wait, no, let me look up that word. This thing is, no, okay, that's tawab. If I can't find that everything is tawab and lawful for me to eat in that Arab store, I ain't trusting them. I don't trust my enemies, and neither should you, because by trusting your enemies, you're gonna allow them to buy up your neighborhood. You're gonna allow them to put drugs and guns in your neighborhood. You're gonna allow them to tell your little Black and Hispanic and Native American sons and daughters, Listen, guys, welcome to class today. Today we're going to be talking about marijuana and how it is not such a bad drug as everyone makes it to be. It's not a gateway drug. It's not addictive. It's okay to smoke a little marijuana. It helps open your bronchial cells in your lungs. It allows you to be more creative. It can help with your cooking. It'll make everything taste better. No, don't trust your enemy. They're lying to you. Trust in this. Trust in this delight. This should be your joy giver. Right here, this should be your liberator. This book right here, given to us by the Most High God. Right here, trust this. Never trust a white man. Never trust an African. Never trust an Asian. Never trust an East Indian. Never trust a goddamn stinking East Indian who wants to give you cannabis, marijuana, and bomb. Never trust the Arabs. And one more time, just because it means so much, never trust a goddamn white man. Never trust a woman that's white. Never trust a child that's white. Don't trust any of them. All right? For like as iron rusteth, iron is metal. Iron will eventually rust. It will rust. It will go bad. Just like a carton of milk, if left in the fridge for extended periods of time, it will turn sour. Just like if you leave a bottle of wine and you don't finish drinking it and you leave it unopened, over time it will turn bad. Iron, over time, if not replaced, if not fixed and melted, it will rust. It will get weak. It will go bad. Your enemy is like iron. The white man is like iron. The East Indian is like iron. The African, the Arab, the Asian, they are all like iron. They will rust. They will go bad. It's only a matter of time that you find out that they are evil and wicked. It says, so is his wickedness. It will eventually happen when you find out that your white friend at the job is evil and actually hates you and calls you a nigger and calls you a spick, calls you a savage, a wetback, a redskin. It's only a matter of time where your East Indian friend looks at you and says, you're a nigger. Looks at you and says, you're a dirty Mexican. Looks at you and says, oh, you're from El Salvador? Oh, you're nothing but a bunch of rapists. It's only a matter of time where that Asian store owner looks at you and says, nigga, hurry up and buy. If you buy, go. If you break, you buy. Hurry up and buy. I feel sorry for your mama. I'm pretty sure we all seen Menace to Society. I feel sorry for your mother. What you said, mama? It's only a matter of time before their wickedness appears in front of you. It's only a matter of time that their wickedness manifests. Never, and I repeat, never trust your enemy. I don't trust the white people living below me. I don't trust the white people living above me. I don't trust the white people living across the hall from my house. I don't trust the white people when I'm walking down the streets in Harlem. And you shouldn't trust them either. You shouldn't trust no East Indian. You shouldn't trust no African. You shouldn't trust none of your enemies. Because like iron rusteth, like iron is eventually going to go bad. It will go bad. Your enemy will be wicked. He will show you his evilness. He will show you how vile and disgusting and how much he hates you. Never trust your enemy. All right? Let's any other comments on here? Okay. Let's keep going. Let's go to Psalms chapter 83. Psalms chapter 83. Let's find out who our enemies are. Psalms 83, and we're going to start at verse 5. All right? I'm going to give you a few moments to get there. Psalms 83, verse 5. All right, Psalms chapter 83, verse 5. It says, "For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee." Let's break that down. For they, the they that they're speaking about, if you read the beginning chapter, it's talking about the enemies of the Most High God. It's talking about the enemies that hate God and that hate Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. For they have consulted. When you consult with someone, you go to them and you take their advice. You ask them for help. You ask them what is the best plan of action. What can I do to solve this issue? What can I do? I need help. Help me come up with a plan. For they have consulted together. All the enemies of God came together. They consulted with one another. They got in a big room, in a big tent, and they go meet in the United Nations. They go meet in the town hall. They go meet at the White House. They go meet at the House of Congress. They go meet in the Parliament of Canada. That's what they go meet. And they consult with each other. How can we get niggas, spics, and savages to disobey the Lord? How can we get niggers and spics and wetbacks and El Salvadorian rapists and cookie eating Haitians and ganja smoking Jamaicans and red skin moose hunting Indians? How can we get them? How can we destroy them? How can we do this? With one consent. I got it. All of our enemies came together to discuss the best way to destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And they, after shooting out ideas, like think of this TV show Fish Tank, or they just throwing out ideas, this one or that one, let's do this, let's do that. They all agreed on one thing. They all knew that this one thing would be the best way to destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They all knew by doing this, they can guarantee our destruction. It says, they are confederates. If you don't know what confederate means just means allegiance. They came to an agreement. They formed a bond, a pact. They became allies with each other. They are confederate against thee. So all of our enemies got together, they consulted, they came to one decision on the best plan of action to destroy us, and they formed an alliance. They'd say, you know what? Let's join together and let's push this plan. Let's push marijuana. Let's push cannabis. Let's push bong. Let's get them addicted to weed. All right? Let's drop down to verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes. If you don't know what these are, I'm gonna break it down for you right now. It says the tabernacles. The tabernacles, think of a tabernacle in today's society, a house. You know, in ancient times, it was the tents. It was the dwelling places. So the tabernacles of Edom, the houses of white people. That's what Edom is, the race of white people. The biblical name for white people is Edomites. You know, they come from the man named Esau, whose name was changed to Edom, who was later called, who had children that were called Edomites or Idumeans. Same thing. So white people consulted together with one consent and made an alliance to destroy us. And the Ishmaelites came together. The Ishmaelites are the Arabs, the ones selling you Lucy's in the corner stores, the ones committing jihad, the ones that believe in Islam. Those are the Arabs. They came together to destroy us. It says of Moab. Of Moab, that's the Chinese. That's the Taiwanese. That's people from Laos. That's people from Korea, you know. and the Hagarenes. The Hagarenes, think of the Hagarenes as the wealthiest and richest Arabs. Because the Hagarenes were the wealthiest tribe, were the wealthiest families of Ishmael. The Hagarenes were the ones that had the most wealth, the most power, the most influence of the nation of Ishmael. So think of all those princes of Dubai, all those Saudi Arabian princes that own oils and all that. Think of them as the Hagarenes, the richest, the wealthiest of the Arabs. Gabal is just a tribe of Africans, of Hamites. And Ammon is what you call the Japanese. Ammon is what you call the North Koreans. Ammon is who you call the Mongolians. Yeah. The Philistines, another tribe, another family of Africans. And the inhabitants of Tyre, another family of Africans. It says Assur. I'm going to get Assur for you right now. I got it right here. The Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary. Assur. Let's check out what Assur is. I need to refresh my memory on which enemy of mine this is. Assur. Let's get it. I'm getting close. Here it goes. From the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary, Assur or Ashur, the god of the Assyrians, their reputed human founder, the ancient capital of the country, often the nation of Assyria. Ashur is the builder of Nineveh and the nearby cities. He comes from the kingdom of Nimrod, a descendant of Ham, but may not be of his race. So Assur is a descendant of Ham, not necessarily of a African tribe, but he's an Assyrian, East Indian, let's just say. These are our enemies. White people. Oh, I forgot Amalek. Ooh, I don't know how I forget this one. The water Yahweh. Amalek. Amalek is the so-called white man that calls himself Jewish. He's the chief tribe of white people, the richest and wealthiest of the white people. He's the ones that wear those little spiral staircases on the side of his head. He's the ones that wear that yarmulke on his head. He's the one that wears all black, like he's ready to die at any moment. He's the one that looks deformed in the face because they're all practicing incest and have 6 toes and 7 fingers and might have a tail. Who knows? That's Amalek, the Jewish man. All right? So you have to know that white people are your enemies. African people are your enemies. Asians are your enemies. East Indians are your enemies. Arabs are your enemies. You should never, ever, 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 ever trust any of them. Your life depends on it. Your survival depends on it. You quitting marijuana depends on you not trusting them. The first thing you need to do by stopping by not smoking marijuana anymore is stop trusting your enemies, because your enemy is only going to push marijuana and bong into your community. And then you come back to the Lord. Know that the Lord doesn't want you to smoke marijuana. Know that the Lord thinks you are special, that you are a peculiar treasure. You are special unto him above all these goddamn nations on the face of the earth. Above all. You are above the white man. You are better than the Asian when in his incest-looking, Mongolian-looking face. You are better than the Africans that drink cow piss and rub cow piss on their heads to make their head blonde. You are better than the Arabs that dye their beards red to take after Muhammad, whose beard was dipped in blood. You are better than the East Indians whose god named Shiva decided to be the Lord of bong and marijuana. You are better than that, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man and woman. You are a nation of righteous priests and princes and princesses and men of mighty valor. That's who you are. Let's drop that. And let's get Ecclesiastes 12 and 10 again. Let's go back to Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. All right. Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha, chapter 12, verse 10. Selena Mendoza, Shalom, sis. How you doing? I'm Officer Shargapon. Right now, the teaching of today is how weed is meant to destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and our enemies know this. All right. Anything on YouTube? Okay. All right. Let's get back. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. It says, never trust thy enemies, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So never trust the enemy, because they're always going to be your enemy. They can pretend to like you. They can pretend to want to hold your hand and skip down the street, but they're like iron. They will always rust. They will always show their wickedness at the end. All right. Verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Let's break this down. It says, though he humble himself, though your white friend humbles himself, says, yeah, I'm sorry, Andre. I'm sorry, Jose. I'm sorry, Maria. I'm sorry, Selena. I'm sorry, Shaquita. I'm sorry, Tanya. I'm sorry. Slavery was so bad. I'm against slavery. None of my families ever owned slaves. I hate how police officers are killing unarmed black men. I want to join you, and let's join the Black Lives Matter movement because I care. I think it's wrong when blacks and Hispanics get racially profiled. I think it's wrong that blacks and Hispanics fill the prison systems in astronomical numbers. I think it's wrong that blacks and Hispanics get drugs pushed in their communities. I think it's wrong. I want to be your friend. Though he humble himself, though your enemies pretend to like you and pretend to be sincere and sympathize with you, and they go crouching, they get themselves low. You know what? You go first. I'll hold the door for you. I see a family walking by. Let me hold the door for you. Let me stop traffic for you. Let me bring you some cake let me bring you some desserts, some cakes and brownies because you just moved into an all-white neighborhood and you're the only black and Hispanic family here. Let me come over and meet you and say hi. Welcome to the neighborhood. If you need to borrow some cinnamon or some sugar or some paprika, let me know. I don't have those stuff because I don't use seasonings and spices on my food, but I can go to the supermarket and buy it for you. Let me know. Yet take good heed. Make sure you pay attention. Make sure you listen carefully. Make sure you remember. Take good heed and beware of him. Be cautious of him. Know that this devil may not really like you. He doesn't. Know that this devil might try to slip some shrimp in your beef fried rice, because he might. Know that this devil, the African, might try to sell you some cow piss instead of some frankincense and myrrh. Know that this Arab won't feed you pork, but the chicken that he's serving you, he just put in the same oil that he was just frying shrimp with. Just know, beware, be cautious. Know that this is your enemy. Know that they are only going to try to do you wrong. They may seem nice. They may play nice. They might try to be butt buddies and they might try to coordinate your outfits together to match on the first day of school. They might try to kit you up and say, "Yo, I just bought a sack of some fire Reggie, some dope Kush. All you gotta do is buy the blunt wrap and we smoking. Let's smoke out of my pineapple bong I just made." Although they seem nice, they might want to be your friend. They're pretending. You need to beware. Be cautious of them. And thou shalt be unto him. And this is what they will be like unto you. All right? As if thou has wiped. We all know. Wiping, if I spill some water on the table, I'm gonna get some Bounty, some paper towel, and I'm gonna wipe it down to dry it up. I know that if I sneezed on my mirror, I'm gonna get some Windex and spray the Windex on and clean the mirror. If I just finished making some lasagna, I'm gonna clean all the pots and pans that I did. I'm gonna wipe them clean and wash them with soap and water. As if thou hast wiped a looking glass. If you don't know what a looking glass is, think of a mirror. It's a mirror. Think of that BS Snow White story. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest Edomite of them all? It's a looking glass, a mirror. Imagine you're wiping this mirror down. This mirror has a lot of dust and scum and grime. You need Windex, you need Lysol, you need all types of stuff. You're scrubbing, you're wiping it to make it clean. And thou shalt know. And then while you're wiping this mirror, you're going to know, you're going to realize that the rust of your enemy, the rust of the white man, the rust of the Asian, the African, the East Indian, the Arab, the rust, their wickedness, their evil doings, their hatred towards you, have not been altogether wiped away. Boom. Just when you thought your white friend, what's the white boy's name? Just when you thought your white friend named Anthony or Lucas, right? Just when you thought he was good and he wasn't an evil cracker, and he doesn't use the word nigger or spick. Just when you thought you had a good old white friend, he calls you a nigger. Not a nigger, but a nigger. He calls you a spick. He calls you a savage. He sells you out. He rolls up the blunt for you. He breaks up the weed for you. Guts the blunt down the middle for you. Gives it a little lick to make it get some moisture in there. He sprinkles the marijuana in the Fanta leaf. He rolls it up. He licks it to secure it. He takes a lighter to dry it up, whatever he wants to do with it. He lights it. He's smoking, puffing, passes it to you. You're smoking. Cops pull up. You get caught with the weed. I'm sorry, officer. It was his weed. That cracker is going to say that that weed was yours, that you gave it to him, that you were trying to get him to smoke. He will betray you. He will show how much of an evil, wicked, liar, disgusting deceiver, beast, animal, savage, caveman that he is. And he will let you take the fall. Because although you tried to wipe as hard as you can, you tried scrubbing it. You tried wiping using Lysol, Mr. Clean, Windex, ammonia. You try using the Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. You try to use OxyClean to shout it out. You know, you did everything you could to make sure this was a good white man. But you just realized that his rust was never wiped away altogether. You thought you cleaned that looking glass, but you missed the spot. You thought that you got rid of all that dirtiness. You missed the spot. On that day, you realized how wicked and evil he was. You realized how Anthony and Lucas weren't really good white friends and weren't your real friends. They were just trying to get you to smoke bong, that Lord Bong, the god Shiva gave. That's what they were trying to do. They caused your destruction. Their rust wasn't altogether wiped away. Let's go to verse let's see anything on Facebook. Let's go to verse 12. It says, set your enemy. It says, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Let's break this down. It says, set the white man not by you. Don't allow white people to join you. Don't allow Asian people to join you. Don't allow Asians, East Indians, and Arabs to join you. Don't keep them as company. Don't allow them into your house, into your school, into your car. Don't go to the mall with them. Stay away from them. Lest when he have overthrown thee, because there's going to come a time when he's going to get rid of you. He sees you dealing drugs and making all the money. He's going to rat you out, snitch on you, drop a dime on you. Next thing you know, he's selling the drugs and making all the money. He sees you with some fly, dope shorty, with some beautiful Jamaican chick, some Haitian chick, with this beautiful Mexican girl, this beautiful Cherokee Indian girl named Littlefoot or Eagle Feather. He's going to see you with them. He's going to say, I want that woman. What can I do to get rid of him so I can take his woman from him? He's going to overthrow you. He's going to get rid of you so he can take what you have. He stand up in thy place. He's going to stand up and say, well, Laquan just got locked up. Someone snitched on him. So right now, I'm your dealer. What you need? I got that 5 for 20. I got that 2 for 15. I got the 1 for 20. You want the Reggie, the Kush, the Sour? What you need? I got it. What you got? What you need? That's what he's going to do. He's going to take your place when he overthrows you, when he gets you out of the way. It says, neither let him sit at thy right hand. You know, you a boss, you making moves, you a CEO, you the drug kingpin. Your right hand man, your muscle, the one that you can always trust and rely on, don't ever let it be a white man, an Asian man, an African man, an East Indian, an Arab. That's your enemy. Don't try to start a Fortune 500 company and be a CEO and then have your CFO a white man, an Asian, an African, an East Indian, an Arab. That's your enemy. Lest he seek to take thy seat. Because in his mind, he don't want to be the CFO. He wanna run shit. He want to be the CEO. He wants to be the president of that Fortune 500 company. He wants to be the man, the boss. And lest he seek to take thy seat, and he will try to take your seat. He will try to kick you off. He will try to get you. He will try to get you for embezzlement or or tax evasion. He'll try to do something to get rid of you. And thou at the last remember my words. And at that moment, what was written aforetime was written for our learning. At that moment, you're going to remember that Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10 said, never, ever, 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 ever trust thy enemy. Because just like iron will rust, so will his wickedness. Your enemy will always be your enemy. The white man will always be the white man. He will always be a devil. The Asian man will always be an Asian man. He will always try to get you to eat cat, rat, and dog because he eats cat, rat, and dog. The African will always be your enemy because he will try to cut your daughter's clitoris off so she doesn't feel any pleasure when she has sex. He will try to sell you cow piss instead of frankincense. Never trust the Arab because he's gonna say that he don't serve pork, but he's cooking your chicken in the same oil that he cooks shrimp. Never ever trust thy enemy. All right? And remember these words. You're gonna remember them. If you don't remember them before this, if you remember these words, good for you, because now you know never trust your enemy. Don't have any heathen, any white, Asian, Arab, African, East Indian in your circle, amongst your friends. Don't invite them over for dinner. Don't go out to eat. But if it's too late and they already overthrew you, they already dropped a dime on you, getting you locked up, now that's when you remember that you should have never trusted your enemy. All right? Let me get this one last scripture. Go to Psalms 58. The book of Psalms, chapter 58. We're going to end this with this. Psalms chapter 58. Psalms chapter 58, verse 8. Psalms chapter 58, verse 8. All right? It says, as a snail which melteth, let every one of them pass away, like the untimely birth of a woman, that they may not see the sun. Now, this is talking about our enemies. Let's break this down because this is pretty deep. It says, as a snail. If you don't know what a snail is, take some time, Google it. A snail is an animal that I want to say crawls. It doesn't have legs and nothing like that to crawl. Think of a slug or like a worm. A snail kind of like pushes its way using its body and lives inside like a shell. As a snail which melteth. I don't know if you ever put salt on a snail or put salt on a slug, how they start to shrivel up because they're very they have a lot of moisture. They hold a lot of liquid, you know. And when you put salt on them, they start to shrivel up and it's almost like they're melting. They start to die. So just like a snail melts and dies, let every one of them pass away. Let every white person die. Let every Asian person die. Let every African die. Let every East Indian die. Let every Arab die. Because for all of existence, all these people have ever done is to try to destroy the children of God which are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Let all of them die. Let them all shrivel up. I wish I can take salt and just throw it on a white person and they start shriveling up. I'm melting, like the Wicked Witch of the East or West in The Wizard of Oz. I wish that can happen to every Asian and African and Arab. They can just melt. It says, like the untimely birth of a woman. Now, when a woman is pregnant, an untimely birth means that they can have a miscarriage. The baby dies in their stomach. An untimely birth can mean a woman being given birth at the hospital and the baby's born dead. This is what should happen to every white, Asian, Arab, African, East Indian person. That they should die in their mother's womb. Because if they're born, they're only going to commit more wickedness. They're only going to be more evil to our people. They're going to be born evil and wicked and liars. Let all of them be born dead. When they give birth at the hospital, whatever famous or big hospital it is in Canada or wherever you live, whether it's Montreal, Toronto, Quebec, Ontario, whatever hospital it is, if a white woman, African woman, Asian woman, East Indian woman, Arab woman is in there giving birth, pray for that baby to die at birth. Pray for them to die. Hope the Lord kills them. Because if that child is born, they're only going to grow up to be devils. And they're only going to grow up to be evil. They're only going to grow up to hate blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And with that, that's the end of our class today. Security announcements. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. A rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra, is a commandment. It can be found in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means tenth. It's 10%. Tithes is not 20%. Tithes is not 30%. Tithes is 10%. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you must give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds are a free will offering to the priest for the priest. They are not mandatory. However, in the spirit of brotherhood, since we're doing this all day long, we're risking our lives to teach our people the truth of who they are and according to the Bible. If you do decide to donate some money to the priest, you can give whatsoever amount you would like. We're not going to ask for $100, $1,000, a minimum $5. Hell, we'll take a penny. 100 pennies can go buy 2 cans of corn at the supermarket. You know, we'll take your nickels, your dimes, your dollars, whatever money you would like to give to us, we will gladly accept so we can feed these priests who work day and night to help these brothers and sisters all around the earth. Upcoming holy convocations. The next upcoming holy convocation is a very deep one. It's the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah. You know, it's going to be Saturday, December 1st. Make sure you tune into class. We'll be live streaming on I.S.U.P.K online classes on Facebook and on YouTube. Make sure you go, if there's a school near you, make sure you go to that school. You know, be with your fellow brothers and sisters. Learn about your history. Learn about where Hanukkah comes from, how it was created. Eat some good food. You know, we always got some slamming food. These sisters in the UPK, they're so righteous, man. They sweat making these food, making the best mac and cheese, the best jerk chicken, the best tacos. Like Captain Cotzar got me jealous. He came back from Texas, and he was like, they served the best. The sisters had the dopest banging tacos. Man, I want me a taco right now. I want me an enchilada. You know, these sisters are so righteous, and you sisters deserve it because y'all sacrifice just like our brothers sacrifice. Y'all make these foods to help keep feeding the nation. And for any other upcoming feast days, high holy days, events, lectures, make sure you check the bulletin board in your school. If you don't have one, like in Canada, what you can do is go on I.S.U.P.K.com and you can check out the links there and find out all types of events going on. And also for any of you brothers that want to be a trooper in the Lord's army, that want to be a trooper in I.S.U.P.K, you need to start wearing all black boots, all black pants, all black shirts, all black headbands, and war scarves. And with that, Shalom Israel, Shalom Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua Barakatam to all my brothers out there, and to my sisters, Shalom Yahweh Shamar Alatam B'Hashem Yahushua. The water for tuning in, and thank you for allowing me to help you realize that weed is not good for you. Bong is not good for you. What you need to do is stay away from drugs, stay away from weed, and never ever trust your enemy. Shalom, Israel.